Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Hi, hello, hello. I'm so excited you guys are here. Happy Wednesday. I was about to say Thursday. I feel like I've been a day off all week. I will be very sad on Friday, um, or actually tomorrow when I'm thinking it's Friday. All right, so I hope everyone can hear me okay. Please let me know if you cannot. I am attempting to use my Yeti mic, so
Take care.
sometimes I feel like I don't have it set up correctly. So anyways, hopefully you guys can hear me all right. I am just trying to also do all of the admits. So if you kind of see me looking back and forth, that is what is going on. So welcome, welcome. Hello. So excited you guys are here. I am going to dive right in. I don't want to take up too much of your time today. So I'm going to share my screen. If you guys have been with me on a webinar, you know it takes me a hot minute to share my screen. So bear with me on that. Let's see here. So we've got share screen, and then I need to move you guys over here. And then, oh, hold on. See, now this is where I get all y'all. I wish Zoom would make things much easier when you like share your screen, everything goes away, and I get so confused. I wish they would just make it way easier to do that. Okay, so let's go to, let me just open up participants so I know if I see someone pop in. And then I am going to open up my all right. All right. So first and foremost, I want to, in the chat, I would love to know how many of you guys are currently doing Reels or working on it. I mean, obviously you're here to learn more about Reels, but I really want to know if you are currently doing Reels, how often, if you're comfortable, if you're not comfortable at all, like where are you at on the spectrum when it comes to Instagram Reels? I want to know. Preschool, I love that. And Carrie, yes, you are doing. Yes, you are. I love it. I'm not doing it. Oh gosh, see now I'm like all discombobulated. Where's my screen here? Present. Green as can be, not doing them. Would like to have our LOs do some. Facebook and Instagram. All right, so let me do present full screen and then let me see if I can. All right, so present. Okay, hopefully you guys can see my screen. All right, so I've got most of you guys, it seems that we are really gonna be kind of starters in the Instagram reel realm, which is absolutely fantastic. That's what I'm here for. So we are gonna talk about how to effectively use reels on Instagram. Now, I say reels on Instagram. If you are a TikTok user, this can also go over to TikTok. Facebook also allows you to post reels as well. So you can take some of these effective methods and use them across platforms. Just kind of keep that in mind. I specialize in Instagram Reels, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So a little bit about me, if you don't know, my name is Chelsea Gardner. I am the owner of C. Gardner Marketing. It is a done-for-you social media marketing and advertising agency. If you want to follow me over on Instagram, that QR code will take you right there. I always love to follow you guys back, see what you're doing, engage with you. I have been in marketing for over 10 years. My undergraduate and my master's are both in marketing. I am the co-author of the AI Prompt Handbook, which can be found on Amazon if you are looking for some ChatGPT stuff. I also am the founder of the Aiden Jared Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization that my husband and I created in honor of our son to help other special needs families here in the state of Florida. I am a wife. I'm a mom to my son, Aiden. I absolutely love boba tea. I love Chick-fil-A. I'm a huge Disney fanatic. And I sometimes run for fun, although I haven't done it in quite a while. My superpower is really simplifying social media. I love to help you guys navigate social media in a very simplistic way. Most people are not content creators, right? We're not doing this full time. And so I love to simplify things and give you actionable and step-by-step, processes in how to navigate the world of social media to really kind of, streamline everything for you guys. So today we have a lot on our agenda. I do tend to talk fast, so please make sure if I start talking fast, just drop in the chat, like, please slow down. Put any questions that you have in the chat as we go. I do like to try to answer questions as we're like on the topic versus coming back to it, because it just kind of gets a little convoluted. So I do like to have you put the questions in the chat. Make sure that, again, if I start talking fast, slow me down. But I like to try and get through as much as I can in these. So today we're going to talk about what you need for a successful reel, the importance of a target audience for your reels, for your social media in general, honestly, content ideas for you guys, what are hooks, examples of hooks, some editing tips, and then how to analyze metrics to analyze. And then I've got a bonus offer for you guys. So let's dive in. Oh, I did not finish this slide. So first and foremost, let's talk about a few did you knows when it comes to Instagram Reels. So Instagram actually reaches over 1 billion users every single month. And the most people that use Instagram Reels are in the United States and India, actually. So think about just that in general. How many people are using social media, using Instagram, on Instagram? And if you may have heard, you may not have heard, that reach is down on, video content on Instagram Reels, and that people are struggling to get views on Reels. And while that is the case, because there's so many more people using Reels, our attention span has just drastically dropped, right? Like if we don't catch your attention in like 3 to 5 seconds while you're scrolling social media, you might as well forget it. So these ingredients and how to really successfully set up a reel is going to help you really catch the attention of those as they scroll. Okay. Because again, you don't have much time to capture that attention. So you need to make sure that you're setting up your videos, you're setting up your reels in a very strategic manner, so that when your ideal client is scrolling, they are like, oh yes, okay. And you get that attention in that 3 to 5 second time frame. Okay. Carrie, my challenge when creating is, should I mainly focus on appealing? So we're going to talk about that. So I will get into that for you. Absolutely. So my question to you guys, first and foremost, is what would it mean to you? Like if you put out a reel, what makes it successful to you? Like, what is it that, like, what means your reel is successful? If you post a reel today and you look at it in a week or two, what made it successful in your eyes? Tell me in the chat. Leads. Okay, keep going. Engagement. What else? Conversations. Realtor interaction, so comments, direct messages, questions. Awesome. Okay. Yes. So that is views. Okay, fantastic. So that is when you're thinking about reels, think about what a successful reel looks like to you. And we're going to get into some of these at the end when we talk about analytics. Okay. All right. So engagement, ingredients for a successful reel. Here are some things that I want you to really think about as you're building your reels, okay? And when you are working to create a piece of video content, you really want to think about an engaging hook. And I'm going to talk, hooks are a huge part of this, so we're going to dive really deep into hooks. Your content is a huge piece of your reel, right? So what type of content you're putting out there, and I'm going to give you some content ideas. Your caption. So when you are thinking about creating a video, when you are doing an Instagram reel, if you have ever scrolled through Instagram and you see the reels that pop up, there is not much of the caption that you see when you are scrolling, correct? So like as you're scrolling and you're watching videos, there's not much of that caption that you see. Captions are primarily to help with search engine optimization on Instagram. So putting in very relevant information into that caption, what you are talking about, all of that stuff would go into the caption for SEO. That doesn't necessarily mean that a ton of people are going to read your caption. So we're going to talk about this, but that first sentence in your caption is the most important piece of your caption because that is what is seen when people are scrolling, right? They have to actually click to open up the rest of your caption to read it. So you got to think about captions a little bit differently now in terms of what to put in it and what is important, if that makes sense. Making sure that your message is very clear. Again, we don't have much time to get attention of people on social media as they scroll. So having a very clear message is key. Higher quality visual. So if you are doing a video, and we'll talk about some of this, but lighting, right? Making sure that you have either natural light, I'm in front of a window that gets no light, so it really doesn't help me. I've got big box lights. And again, you don't need this like huge production to do stuff, but you do need pretty good lighting. You don't want it to be dark. You want to make sure that you have some form of lighting on you or like to the side, so that you are seen and it's a kind of bright. Creative editing. So, sometimes getting into some of those really cool little editing features can help catch the eye. So when you see movement or really cool editing features, you can look at that as part of an ingredient to a reel. Engaging audio, or some people call it trending audio, or original audio, which is like a talking head. It's you talking. That tends right now to be trending higher than your trending audio is actually you speaking and using original audio. Now, something that I personally have been test trialing on mine that I've seen do well on other accounts is using original audio. So, for example, me talking, right? But then having a very soft trending audio in the background. So I'm test trialing it. I've seen it do well on other accounts. It may or may not. A lot of this stuff is also testing your audience and your account. Okay. So not everything is going to be, this is like, no one can tell you this is exactly what you need to do. A lot of this stuff you just kind of have to try, right? You kind of got to give it a try, see what's working, see what's not working, because what might work for me may not work for you at all. Okay. So, there are things that, yes, definitely work, but some of the other things you're going to have to kind of test try. Having call to actions either on screen or in the first part of your caption, right? Because again, that is what you see. So save this video for later, comment below, whatever that CTA is, can be in that first piece of your caption or on video. Making sure that you're having relevant and very valuable information. So that's what makes a successful reel, right? It needs to be relevant and it needs to have value. Branding, that is going to be dependent on you. If you go to my social media, you're going to see like a rainbow of colors. So a lot of my stuff is branded in a lot of rainbow colors. Hot pink, orange are my brand colors. So that's what you're going to see across my feed. And so if you have that branding, use it, right? And then hashtags are something to test. So I always get this question a lot. What hashtag should I use? How many should I use? And you really got to test that out. Some accounts do very well with no hashtags. Yep, no hashtags, but they use a very, very strong caption with very good search engine optimization. Okay. Some people still use all 30 hashtags, right? Some people do better with 3 to 5. That is something that you kind of got to test. And then the biggest key to everything, no matter what, this is down, hands down, everything is consistency. Your next reel, right? If you post 30 reels in 30 days, your next reel could be the one that goes viral. You have to be consistent. You can't give up on that. Okay. So those are kind of the ingredients for a successful reel. And then I do that. It definitely gets seen by non-followers. So I'm assuming, Carrie, you're talking about the engaging audio, original audio. So using your voice and adding in that trending audio in the background. Yeah. So it does help. I have found it has helped across my, my platform. But again, it's something to test trial and see. All right. What do you use to edit your videos and what do you recommend? Awesome, Olivia. We'll come back to that on the editing slide. And then what level of consistency? That's a really good question, Brady. And how often per week? Consistency is going to be what you can do consistently, right? So I may post twice a day, but y'all, I have a full-time job of content creation. I have a full-time job of social media management. That is going to look different for everybody. I definitely think that 3 times a week should be your goal for your minimum, right? You should be posting 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, right? And keep that consistency. You want to think about it. What can you do consistently for the next 6 months, 8 months, a year, right? And if you're like, oh, I'm going to go all in and I'm going to post 7 days a week. And then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh, I am burnt out. I can't think of nothing. These videos are draining, or content creation is just draining me. I don't have time. I've got deals I've got to close. Whatever the case is, that is going to then really hinder your growth when you go to pick back up in 6 months and you're like, oh, now I'm all back in, right? That doesn't work. Instagram looks at that, and any social media platform looks at that as like you're dating them and then you just fall off the face of the planet and then you want them back and they're like, I don't know if I should show your content. You kind of just like ghosted me 6 months ago. So think about that as you're doing consistency. It's all what you can do. If that's 2 times a week, fantastic. Stick to that 2 times a week for 3, 4, 5 months. And then if you're like, yep, I've got a good rhythm, I can add a third in, then add that third day in, then add that fourth day in. Don't go all in and then just drop. Okay. Okay. Now, this is the huge one. And I'm going to get on a pedestal of this, is knowing your target audience. So anytime you make social media content, no matter what it's for, where it's on, anything, you have to know who you're targeting, right? And the reason that you need to know your target audience are for a few things, right? You can tailor that messaging. So remember how I talked about just a slide ago that your content needs to be relevant? Well, you can't make relevant content if you don't know who you're talking to, right? So you need to be able to tailor that messaging so you can make that relevant content. You can also create a very specific tone and style based off of your target audience. If you are trying to target a millennial first-time home buyer, that style, that tone is going to probably be different than if you are targeting someone for reverse mortgages, right? So you want to make sure that you know who your target audience is when you are creating the content. It also will help you provide very effective communication. And for those of you who are like, I really want engagement, this will help increase that interaction, that engagement piece, because you're speaking directly to them, right? So they're going to more so engage with that content when they feel that, okay? It also will allow you to create an effective marketing strategy. So when you know who you're targeting, you'll know their pain points, right? So millennial first-time home buyer, what are their pain points as they are going through the process or starting the process, or not even knowing they should be starting a process, right? They're just like, I want to buy a house, and they just go for it. That's not a good strategy for them. So you're here with your effective marketing strategies to tailor your content to those pain points that they may have, right? They may not, a pain point of theirs may be their credit score. Maybe the fact that they have no idea how to get a pre-approval, or that they even need a pre-approval, that they're getting denied, right? So all of those things, like knowing those pain points, allows you to effectively communicate with that target audience. And again, be relevant. So when they are scrolling, they're like, that's me. I am that person. It also gives you a competitive advantage. So you can be that like go-to expert for fill in the blank, right? Go-to expert for veterans, go-to expert for first-time home buyers. go-to expert for, real estate agents. It gives you that advantage if you want to know all about USDA loans or all about, entrepreneurs and how they can get DSCR loans and the different options they have. And all of your content is geared towards that. That does not put you in a box. I want you to really think about this. It does not box you into only working with whatever that go-to expert is, right? So if you're like, well, if I only talk about VAs and veterans and all of the ins and outs for VA loans, then I'm going to be boxed into this VA box, right? And only working with veterans. That's just not true. That actually opens up more opportunities. I know y'all are probably like, no, it doesn't, but it really does, because then other people are going to be like, wow, you are your stuff. Most people don't know, oh, your stuff on VA loans, right? No, your stuff. You know the ins and outs of all the little nuances when it comes to whatever this is. Do you also do jumbo loans? Do you do DSCR loans, right? That is going to give you that competitive advantage because you're diving deep into a very expertise in something, okay? For example, I am the go-to expert, in my humble opinion, for social media for loan officers. Does that box me in to only work with loan officers? No, it doesn't. I have clients outside of the loan officer realm, but it makes me very effectively communicate with loan officers and an expert in that field, right? So it doesn't box you in, but it helps you target your messaging specifically for that audience, okay? It also then would relate to higher conversion rates, enhanced brand loyalty, all of that stuff, because you know your target audience. All right. It also will help you create those strong relationships. So again, if you are the go-to expert for VA and veterans and VA loans and all of the ins and outs of that, then you can build very strong relationships with maybe your realtor partners that are heavy with, veterans and things like that. It can really kind of help you set yourself up for a longer term success, just in general. So I want you to really remember something that I hone in on when I talk about target audiences is that you need to remember you're speaking to only one person on the other side of the phone, right? There's not multiple people scrolling that phone. There is one person. So if you are scrolling your social media, think about what stops your scroll. What is stopping you when, you're just scrolling along, humor, education, or something that's directly hits you in the gut. That is what you want to think about. Okay. Hopefully that was helpful. That's my tangent on target audiences, because I will go off on target audiences for a while. All right. So here's some content ideas. You guys, this is recorded. I sure hope I hit record. It's recorded. So you can screenshot this, or you'll also get this in the recording. But here's some content ideas for you as LOs behind the scenes, right? A day in the life B-roll footage. Y'all see, what you can't see right now is I actually have my cell phone in front of me recording me for B-roll footage that you will probably see in the next couple of weeks with maybe steal my call to actions or steal my hooks or whatever of me talking to y'all in the background. Right. So behind the scenes, day in the life. And how easy is it to just throw your phone on a tripod and go about your day? Right. You can put it on that, what's that, fast speed or whatever, in the phones, and it will create all these clips very quickly. Do that. It's very easy. And then use it with text overlay. Did you knows? So if y'all watch reels, did you knows are great. And especially if you're did you know? And then first time home buyer edition, or did you know veteran edition or investor edition, those are great. And you can do various editions. So kind of going back to, I don't remember who said it, in regards to, I don't know who to target. If you're oh, I want to target a few different people, this is a great way to do that. Add on those little additions, right? So that way, when people are looking at your feed, they'll know, oh, this information is for first-time homebuyers and this information is for my veterans. So that way, if you're but I don't want you to do 25 things, right? But this is a good way to kind of break out your content into different pieces, if that makes sense. 1 second of your clips or 1 second clips of your day, every month, and then do a recap at the end of the month. I love watching those. I think it's really cool. Quick tips for insert here. First time home buyers, investors, real estate agents, whatever that is. Again, that kind of goes back to the did you know? That's how you can break out some of your content. How-to videos. If it's like here's a pre-approval application. Here's how you fill it out. Let me show you. It's real easy. It takes less than 2 minutes. Right? If you can do tutorials, getting on and talking about testimonials or personal stories. Testimonials can actually be a way to do faceless reels. So you can create those inside of Canva and have movement and video with testimonials. Personal stories are fantastic, right? So, I just did a refi and I have been able to save this person $350 a month on their, monthly expenses and Like that's a personal story that you did. Myth busting, I know sounds really cliche, but it still is a very good piece of content for you guys, because there's a lot of things that people just don't know that I know you're like, oh my gosh, I feel like, you don't need 20% down has been, busted over and over. And like, at this point, people should know that. People don't. Okay. Rate updates, market stats, trends, all of that stuff. When things, when the rates drop, when they go up, when there's new market stats, if you're like, I'm in the Tampa Bay area. So what are the market stats here in this area, in your area? What does that look like? And then provide your thoughts. Like, hey, I think the market's going to do X, Y, and Z. This is what I think you should do right now because trending, this is what I'm seeing. Or, I've been in the industry for 25 years. And when this happens, this tends to happen right after. And do those things as your content because it's your thoughts and people are like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. Or like it's coming from you. If they have the know, like, and trust factor from you, then they're gonna be like, they're gonna listen to you, right? FAQs are a great one. When realtors ask you questions, when clients ask you questions, when potential clients ask you questions, write it down, put it in your calendar, your notes on your phone, and then use those FAQs to do content, to do reels about, right? I just had a question on this. Let me answer that for you. Checklist. So if you're like, hey, here's what you need to bring to closing, blah, 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 blah. That's a good video. And then educational series are great. So do a whole series on VA loans. And then the next week, do a series on FHA loans and just call it like your weekly series. And then that way you can break out various topics in weeks timeframes, right? Easy stuff. Okay, now let's talk about hooks. Hooks are key. Hooks are what would be the compelling statement, question, visual piece, or whatever at the very beginning of like insert blank, reel, your caption, your content, whatever. That is a hook. That is what draws your audience in. That is what encourages them to actually pay attention to your content, watch your video, listen to you talk, right? Reels, it's crucial again, because we don't have a lot of time to capture that audience's attention as they're scrolling through their Reels feed. So that hook is so key in that first few seconds of that viewer to capture that attention of them, right? So an effective hook is attention grabbing, right? So it's eye catchy, it's thought provoking, all of that stuff. It's concise. It's clear, it's very short, it's brief, it's to the point, right? It tells you exactly what we are going to be talking about or doing or whatever the case is. It's relatable. So again, going back to our target audience, we can really just like punch in the gut. Here's a pain point. Here's an experience that I bet you're having, right? Getting denied for loans, question mark. If your audience is one that gets denied, right? Using relatable language, try not to use language that is like, I have no idea what this person is talking about, right? Use very relatable language. Hooks also create curiosity. So if you're posing a question, if you're giving them a problem, right? Maybe a problem they didn't even know they had, or maybe a problem that they're like, oh, do I have this problem, right? What is that piece of curiosity that will want them to learn whatever it is that you have to say? A hook sets expectations, so like what they're going to learn, what you're going to talk about. It can evoke an emotion. So, a lot of content that does really well tends to be humorous, educational, provokes excitement or a sense of urgency, right? So emotional connections to like your videos or your content. So for those of you that really want higher engagement, really try and focus on evoking emotion. This tends to lead to higher engagement, right? Because they're invested in it. Okay. And then has a visual impact. So animations, movements, transitions, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to dig a little bit deeper into hooks because this is the main ingredient that is what is going to capture your audience for better reach. And if you don't have reach, if you don't have those views, right, then you might not get the engagement you're looking for. You might not get the leads you're looking for. You might not get the comments you're looking for. So we're going to dive a little bit into this. So I'm going to pause here before I dive into hooks. Drop any questions you have up to this point in the chat for me. Are you going to discuss whether you should have 1 or 2 accounts? Carrie, 1. I don't have it on here, but as far as accounts go, I highly encourage 1 account unless you have like a personal account that you have hidden that you just want to post family pictures and whatever for family, and not necessarily business. But I recommend 1 because most people can't even keep up with 1. So if you have 2, it's just going to be even more chaotic to keep up with. So I highly encourage 1. All right. Everyone else good? Okay. All right. So let's dive into hooks. So here are some examples kind of going back to, I'm going to kind of go through what makes an effective hook and give you guys some examples. So again, these are what you would put either on screen, right? So on your Reels video, this is what you would put on screen. This would be what you would say in the video. Like these are the options on screen, what you would say in the caption, right? So those are 3 places that you can put hooks. Now think about your audience though, and think about people watching video. Most people, I think it's like 70 or 80% of people read videos, read your like stories. They're not actually listening to them. Most of them have the volume off because they're scrolling at work, they're just scrolling quickly, whatever. Most people have the volume turned off. So I recommend putting the hook on screen on your video and then possibly either saying a reiteration of it or the exact same thing. So attention grabbing hooks, right? Stop scrolling. You need to hear this, right? Again, it is like in your face. That is attention grabbing. What if I told you there's a way that you can boost your mortgage approval, right? This 1 tip can save you thousands on your mortgage, right? You want to also make sure that you're kind of like, I mean, it's attention grabbing. You want to grab their attention. Movement, clapping, loud noises, right? You won't believe what most home buyers overlook. So you want to grab their attention very quickly. I said all of those probably in under 3 seconds in a very like matter of fact, attention grabbing. If you are using it as text overlay, then like the stop scrolling needs to be like big and bold, right? Stop scrolling. You need to read this, right? So that is what those attention grabbing hooks look like, sound like, right? And then obviously you would write this in the caption if you're using it in the caption. Clear and concise hooks. Again, how to get a pre-approved in 5 minutes, right? That's very clear and concise. That is telling me that you are going to tell me how I can get pre-approved in under 5 minutes, right? 3 tips for lowering your interest rate. You're going to tell me 3 tips to lower my interest rate, right? They're very concise. They're very clear and to the point. Does that make sense? Improve your credit score in 30 seconds, right? Those types of things, it tells me what you're telling me, okay? So if I need to improve my credit score, I want to watch your video because I'm going to learn it in under 30 seconds, okay? Relatable hooks. Many first-time homebuyers feel overwhelmed. You can also change this so you're talking directly to the person as instead of many first-time homebuyers, like, are you a first-time homebuyer feeling overwhelmed, right? Because then that person will be like, yep, I sure am. Are you worried about how to afford your first home, right? Are you dreading the thought of applying for a mortgage? Okay, so those are relatable and it makes that person on the other end of the phone like, are you confused by mortgage terms? Yes, yes, I have no idea what any of these terms are. And like you can have like all the terms popping up on the screen everywhere. Like, are you confused by all these terms that might be in your contract? Right? This is for you. Okay. So think about some of those like relatable pieces that you could create content around. Creating curiosity. Okay. So what's the biggest secret that lenders wish you didn't know? Right. Are you wondering how to secure the best mortgage rates? Right. Like, oh yeah, I want the best mortgage rates. Who wouldn't? What if I told you that most buyers forget this step? Okay. Well, I don't want to forget no crucial step. Like, let me look at this. So think about these hooks in the sense of your audience when you are making these videos. Okay. Now, one thing I will tell you is if you've ever scrolled and you're like, okay, so what's the biggest secret lenders wish you didn't know? Pops up on the screen. You got your B-roll footage of you chit chatting, doing whatever. And then there's like, see caption, right? Please, please don't do that. Most people I have like been in some like not trials, but I've been in like some groups where like they run a lot of these processes and trials. Most people absolutely can't stand that. Like they want to they want to know. They're watching your video. They don't want to read the caption. They just want to know. Now, if you need to expand upon it, right? What's the biggest secret lenders wish you didn't know? I don't know. X, right? And then read caption for more. That is okay, but not just read caption. Like I want the answer in the video or at least a piece of the answer, right? Because most people just don't like that. Don't like it. I am one that scrolls past if it's like see caption, like here's your 5 tips for da 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 da. See caption. No, no, I will not. If you don't give me 2 to 3 and then see caption, I'm going to keep on scrolling. Okay. All right. And lastly, evoke emotion hook. So like, don't let fear hold you back. Imagine the joy of stepping into your new home. Feel the relief of securing your mortgage. You deserve to live in your dream home, right? So those are emotional hooks. And then one of the best performing hooks, the American society just loves negativity, negative hooks, right? So stop sabotaging yourself, right? You might be sabotaging your chances. Are you making this mistake, right? So warning, ignore your credit score, all this stuff. These are negative hooks. A lot of people feed off negative hooks and it tends to draw people in more. So what I want you to do when you are creating your content, experiment with your hooks because everyone's going to maybe be a little different. Your audience is going to react differently. You might feel better or more natural doing negative hooks than you are emotional hooks. You might be better at the attention grabbing hooks than you are the emotional hooks. Whatever that is, I want it to be natural for you. I don't want you to like be forceful. If you are not a negative hook person, like maybe try it and see, or like do it as a text screen, but maybe you don't say it because you're like, that doesn't feel natural to me. And then you talk about like, okay, if you think you're ready to buy a house, think again, and that's on the screen, and then you talk about it. Do what is natural for you because people can tell on video, people can tell by like your facial expressions, your body language, if you are uncomfortable. So try and pick hooks and hook examples that resonate with you the most because it will shine through on that video. Okay. Try not to be forceful with it. Again, if you are just not someone that wants to evoke emotion, then try going the very like, here's my attention, right? Try that. So think of those. And I dived really deep into hooks, but this is the key. I mean, this is what's going to grab the attention of your audience. Okay. So hooks are crucial. Hooks are one of the biggest pieces. I don't care who you are. That is one of the biggest pieces that are going to attract your audience. Okay. Let's dive into editing tips. So here's some editing tips. I am not diving into how to do the editing tips. I will get there here in a second, but here are some editing tips when you are doing reels. Use very quick cuts, right? So trim any unnecessary pauses, trim filler content. Again, we don't have much time to catch people's attention. We don't have, first of all, you only have 90 seconds on a reel. Most people don't even watch for a full 90 seconds. So we don't have much time to just like, and then, and trim that out. It's okay to pause, but then trim it out. Incorporate transitions if you can. If you are doing like a video and you're doing maybe 5 things for whatever, do tip number 1, face on. Tip number 2, maybe you're moving over here and now the camera has a different angle, right? Try to incorporate different transitions. I don't mean like doing all the fancy like head down and head up things. If you want to get fancy with transitions, you absolutely can, but you don't have to. But you can move up your body position as you're talking. And you can still do it all in one fail swooped video and just edit out that the movements, okay? Add text overlay. We've already kind of talked about that. So again, adding those hooks, adding important information, adding whatever the answer to that hook is, utilizing filters, effects, things like that, if applicable to your brand. Don't force random filters and effects of like stars all over the place or like flashing lights if it doesn't fit with your aesthetic of like you or your brand or who you are. It's only applicable if it fits. Use music, use the sound effects, use trending audio, original audio. We kind of already talked about that. Edit that in. You can look for trending audio and all of that in Instagram. There are various spots inside the app where you can actually find trending audio. Anything that has an arrow that is going like up into the what's that, right, is trending, but there is also a section inside of the app that will take you right to all the trending audios that you can use for your reels. Experiment with speed. So slow it up, speed it down, slow it down. Slow it down, speed it up. And what you can do, again, like I said, with the B-roll footage, the speed it up part can be that, I don't know the setting that makes you like really fast. You can use that. You can also speed up and slow down inside of editing inside of Canva, editing inside of InShot, CapCut, Instagram Reels. You can edit inside of almost any platform. TikTok, you can edit in. I personally use InShot, InShot. I use Instagram primarily. I don't do a whole lot of editing other than to cut out clips. I find that easier in either Canva or InShot than I do in Instagram, but everything else I do inside of Instagram. Have good lighting. We've already talked about that. So natural light if you can, ring lights, box lights, things like that if you need. Incorporate you. So you are your brand. You are like the person that people want to see, hear from, know, whatever. So try to incorporate yourself into the video. If you're like, Charles, I don't like to talk on video. I don't want to get up here. I freeze. I don't know what to say. That is okay. Then do some B-roll footage. Do footage of you just working, right? Do footage of you. I'm talking to y'all and I've got a video watching me, right? Do that and then be in the background. So you're still in your footage, but you're not talking, right? You'll work up the courage to get there. I promise. But start there. And then if you need to incorporate your branding, I use Canva for most of my clients to add in their like business logos, or if you need to add the Equal Housing Lender logo onto your videos, things like that. I do everything inside of Canva for that, but you can also do it inside of Instagram. And if you want to change up like your font or your closed caption colors, things like that, you can do it inside of Instagram. You can also do stuff inside of a system called ManyChat. You can do stuff inside of Canva. There's tons of different editing tools and platforms that you can use for your reels and videos. Try it, like I said earlier, try to use CTAs on screen. So if it is read caption for more, or save this post to share with your first-time home buyers if you're targeting real estate agents, or try to put that CTA in that first sentence of your caption. So if you put the hook on your video, then try to put that CTA on like that first line that pops up when they're looking at the video. And then limit the link. So we've already talked about that. You've got 90 seconds in Instagram Reels, okay? Some may have 3 or 5 minutes. If you are on the experiment side of Instagram, they are experimenting with longer form video content. But right now, limit length is 90 seconds. There was actually a study done for, I want to say it was all of 2020. I think it's up till like July of this year. Don't quote me on that, but it is from Metricool. Most tested reels performed best under 10 seconds. So I always get the question, how long should my reels be? Your reels should be long enough to get the point across. But the best performing reels have been under 10 seconds. Okay. And I know that's hard to do, especially if you're trying to explain something. So then keep it to where like, okay, your hook and all of that, maybe you're giving that little tidbit and then everything else is in the caption, right? But you're still giving a tidbit. You're not just saying read caption. And again, if it's pertinent information and you're keeping their attention, then going longer is totally fine. Taking up that full 90 seconds is totally fine. If you're captivating them with like the information is very pertinent and relevant to them and educational, it is okay. Like, don't be like, oh, Chelsea said it have to be under 10 seconds. No, that's not the case. Just typically more of the best performing reels are under that 10-second mark. 7 seconds most, under that 10 mark is kind of where that study was shown. Okay, so that's some editing tips. I'll drop in the chat real quick just some of the features that I use. So I use Get Munch for editing. I use InShot. I don't use CapCut, but CapCut is one. I don't use Video Leap, but that is one as well. Canva, Instagram. Those are some of the editing tools that you can use for your videos. Okay, now let's talk about metrics. So at the very beginning, I kind of asked you what made a reel successful in your eyes, right? So you kind of need to know what your goal is when you are creating content. Now, one thing I will tell you when it comes to social media and it comes to marketing, not that it can't happen and not that there aren't people that can do it, because I know there are, but I will say direct leads are hard to track unless they are coming directly into your inbox, okay? Which tends to not happen. Most of the time, what I see are people going to your social media they find you there, or they have a Google review and they go find your social media account. They look at what, that you're active, that you're, educational, that you know what you're talking about, all of those things. And then they either go to Google and they Google you and call you from there, or they read your reviews on Google before reaching out. They go to your website, right? So just know that sometimes, even if you're like, oh, this stuff I'm not getting anything from, that might not be the case, right? That may not be the case. And especially if you're constantly putting content out and you're being consistent, a lot of times that I hear from my clients is, like, obvious, they're not getting, I never guarantee leads to social media. That is just something I will never do. But almost all of my clients are like, yeah, I'll call my realtor partners and they'll be like, yeah, I see you all over social media, or I see your content, right? And I have one client that's like, I don't even know what you post, but I know you're posting, because when I have conversations with realtors, they're like, yeah, I see your content, or I really loved this video on blah, 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 blah. So just because even if people don't engage or comment or like, or give you a lead or whatever the case is, does not mean they are not. Oh, I keep losing your audio. Is everyone else still losing my audio? Am I going in and out? Let me know. Hopefully not. If so, then I need to switch. It's fine. Okay. All right. Okay. Let me know if it's me. Okay. All right. So just know that your analytics and how you're analyzing things, like, yes, it's great to have a goal. Like, I want a lead a month from social media. That's fantastic. But just know that, like, you still might be getting things inadvertently. Okay. So I don't want you to be like, I've been doing this for 30 days and I got nothing, right? You got to keep going. I can't tell you the amount of times that I put stuff out on social media and no likes on it. But then I talk to a client, I talk to a potential client, I talk to one of you guys, and you're like, oh, I saw this. I love, thanks for the CTAs. And I'm like, oh, you didn't like it? Like my stuff, right? That's how you feel, right? So don't think people aren't seeing it, okay? Again, you are putting yourself as that go-to expert, and you've got to put that content out there in order to be that person. So when you're looking at metrics, there's a lot of things that you can look at on your analytics inside of Instagram Reels. You do need to be in a professional account, whether that is a business profile or a creator profile. You have to be one of those two in order to get metrics on your account. Okay. So what you can see is reach And reach is going to be the unique number of people that your video was seen by. So there's a difference between reach and impressions. Impressions, like I can only be reached once by your video, but I can be impressed 10 times, right? That means your video went across my feed 10 times, but I only calculate in your reach numbers once. Okay. Interaction. So you can track likes, saves, shares, comments. Shares is going to be the highest compliment in the Instagram algorithm eyes. In terms of out of the interactions, right? So the more that people share your content, the better your like reach and all of that can be in Instagram algorithm eyes. You can also look at initial plays. So how many people played your video, watched your video, anyone that like the replay. So maybe you had 200 plays and then like 60 replays. Watch time is also a very huge metric inside of Instagram's algorithm. So how much of your video is like how long your video is watched for. Followers that viewed it. So you can actually see how many followers versus non-followers viewed your video. So again, that can be a goal. I want 50% of, the views on my reels to be from non-followers. Now, I also want you to think about, and you can also track followers from reels. So it will tell you gained 1 new follower from this reel. But I also want you to think about that, because I have so many people that are like, I want followers, right? I want 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 followers, and anyone can get you 50,000 followers, 100,000 followers. Now, does that mean that those followers are your ideal client? People that can work with you, people that you can work with? Like, you make sure that when you are coming up with your goals, that I don't want to say they obviously need to be realistic, but also think about it from that perspective. Would you rather have 10,000 people that are in the state of California and you are licensed in Florida? Or would you rather have 100 people in your city that you could work with following you, right? There's a huge difference there. Now, if you're just wanting the vanity numbers, by all means, but then you probably can't do any business with anyone if they're all from California and you're only licensed in Florida. Okay. So keep that in mind as you are coming up with your goals and you are analyzing your metrics across the social media platforms. All right. Okay. Was this helpful? Did you get some good information? Tell me in the chat. I'm in chat. I asked a quick question. Okay. I'm also going to open it up for questions on any of this stuff. As I open up questions, please drop them in the chat for me. If you're interested in working with me, I do full social media management. I do meta advertising, so Facebook and Instagram advertising. I do one-on-one coaching and I do group coaching. So if you're interested in learning how you can work with me, you can scan that QR code and it will send you over to my contact form. And I'm happy to send you more information and my services and pricing and everything there. Okay, I frequently have people talk to me when I'm out and about way more than they interact on the platform. Yeah, do they, that is absolutely true. Do they ever like reference back to anything that you're posting, Carrie? I'm curious. And then, share one of my reels. If you go, I just posted one, I think today or yesterday. If you go to my Instagram, I'm at the Chelsea Gardner, you'll see all my ridiculous reels. You'll see all of them. Mine are going to have a lot that are very geared towards loan officers, stealing my CTAs, those types of things that I have found you well with my audience. Okay. And then lastly, I know a lot of people really want to learn like how to do reels, right? A step by step process inside of the Instagram app. So creating the reel, recording the reel, editing the reel inside of either Instagram or Canva, possibly like InShot, things like that, knowing how to break the reel out specifically, right? I know that's a huge piece in terms of like, yeah, I can give you all of these ideas, but the actual do part sometimes is where people get held up. So I am holding an Instagram Reels workshop It is a 2-day workshop. It'll be September 4th and September 5th. That is a Wednesday and a Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern time. They are usually about 60 to 90 minutes each day. And we will do a step-by-step workshop on creating reels, editing reels, all of that. It's only $67 to join the workshop. I do have a bonus only for the next 48 hours. If you do join, I will send you 5 done for you faceless reel templates that you can customize inside of Canva, along with a tutorial on how to customize the reels inside of Canva. You'll get that right before the workshop starts. So if you are interested in a step-by-step workshop, if you've ever joined one of my workshops, you know I am a very hands-on step-by-step person. It's not going to be me talking like this. My webinars are very different. It is literally, we walk through it together. So you will have your phone, I will be on the screen, and I will be walking you through step by step creating a reel. And at the end of it, you will know how to create a reel and edit a reel inside of Instagram, and have one posted, hopefully. So that is what I have for you guys. So if you're interested in joining that, you can scan that QR code, and it is open for you. So, okay. Some people think I'm a realtor because I do a lot of stuff with and around them. Houses are more sexy. That is true. That is true. Yeah, I know. One of the things, and I hear it so often, is like, mortgages aren't sexy. Like, how do you make that topic like sexy on Instagram to like attract people? And that's the thing, right? So you also got to think about your audience. If you are licensed in the state of Florida, right? So I said there's 1 billion users on Instagram a month, right? So however many in the United States. Now we're looking at just the state of Florida that we're targeting, right? Because we're not licensed outside of that state. And then on top of that, maybe we very specialize in the Tampa Bay area. So that's kind of more our niche market. Well, now we're in the state of Florida, we're in Tampa, and now we need people who actually need loans or agents, right? And while there's thousands of real estate agents that we can target in Tampa, it still goes from 1 billion to like 3,000, right? So you also got to think about that too, is we may not get to that 100,000 fall. Not that it's not possible, not that it can't happen. I know there are accounts that do, but we may not get there, right? So we definitely want to think about how can we help our audience right now, right? And where are they at? So Instagram for me is a great platform. My Facebook group is a great platform for me. So you also got to think about if the platform is beneficial and works for you. And with reels and videos and reach, I think it's a huge platform that a lot, like you'd be surprised at the age range that's on Instagram nowadays, is hugely beneficial. Okay. How many people in workshops? So I don't cut it off. I usually have about 10, if that gives you any clarity. I don't necessarily cut it off. Now, for this one, if I see it creeping up, I probably will. Because this one's going to be this one is a lot different than my other ones because it's very hands-on inside of Instagram, and really kind of digging into, the editing tools and the features. And I know there's gonna be a lot of questions and some of that one-on-one guidance inside of the workshop. So I want to make sure that I am able to commit to every single person in there. But they're usually about 60 to 90 minutes and we'll walk through all of the things inside of that. So, all right. Any other questions for me that I can help answer? We've got a couple of minutes left. Happy to answer any questions that pop up for you or anything. I will be sending out the replay of this either later today or tomorrow, just depending on how long this takes to process inside of Zoom. But it'll either be later today or tomorrow. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you joining. I hope to see you in the Instagram Reels workshop in September, or on, wherever. Find me on social media. Can you target audience in Instagram to a specific state like you can in Facebook? So can you target audience in Instagram to a specific state like you can in Facebook? If you are running targeted ads, you can obviously target to a specific location. But no, not necessarily like just Instagram in particular, saying like, I only want to run stuff in the state of Florida. You would have to be running like ad specific stuff. All right. All right, guys. Well, I will chat at you soon. I'll get this out to you, and I hope everyone has an amazing, let me stop my screen share. I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your Wednesday, and we'll be in touch soon. Bye, y'all.